Crypto investors are losing big right now. In this video, I'm going to talk about what's happening with the SEC, the companies that are affected, and how this impacts you. My name is David Quinteri, and what I do here on this channel is talk about all of that real complicated stuff in the financial world and I make it real easy. All you got to do is subscribe, tune in each and every day, twice a day recently, to get you the latest and greatest. Look, what's happening with Bitcoin is very different than what we can see with other cryptocurrencies, because you look out there and you see a very different landscape. What used to be one is now separating. More and more people are not calling Bitcoin a crypto. They're saying that's nothing to do with that. We don't want to have any association with that at all. And so things have changed just from a few years ago, like 2017. I've been following crypto since probably about 2010, 2011. And now what I can see is a very big change, and it's happening right now. I'm going to cover everything you've got to know. Let's begin by taking a look at this. SEC accuses crypto trading platforms of being illegal. First Binance, and now Coinbase. Shares in Coinbase plunge after U.S. securities regulator files lawsuit. They are going in attacking head first. They weren't the first ones, by the way, and we'll cover more about that. As SEC files motion to freeze Binance assets, crypto market remains in the green on June 6th. But then something happened, and I'll give you the price updates at least at the time of this recording. U.S. sues Coinbase as crypto crackdown widens. It's happening for a lot of different companies out there. And it was very interesting because these two companies went in very different directions, okay? So you had Binance, which is a global trading, global platform, and basically they went into, we're gonna have minimal operations in the US, minimal consumers in the US. We have Binance.us, and then we have Binance and Binance.com. They could do their own thing over here. So it's like two separate entities, maybe similar to what FTX had. However, Coinbase wanted to be like, we're the legit one. We're the one who's going to follow all the rules. We're going to do everything inside the US. We're going to make sure that we are going in between the lines. We want all that big money, all the corporate money, all those who feel, like safe and sound. They want to feel safe and sound here with crypto. We're going to be the ones. We're going to have the fantastic interface on an app. It's going to be so easy to buy. We're going to get our product into the App Store, the Play Store, all of that. They're really just going to follow all the rules. Both of them got hit, but it could be for very different reasons. So I found that to be interesting, that they're kind of going in different directions in a sense, and yet they both got hit at the same time. The US has charged the biggest crypto trading platform in the country with operating illegally, widening its crackdown on the industry. And so they're saying, hey, these are securities, you're trading securities. This is something because if you look at Binance, for instance, they have their own coin, BNB, and they're saying, hey, that's a security. You can't have that. They're just making all of this illegal. Investors pulled $790 million from crypto exchange Binance after the SEC charges. This was updated as of June 6th on 10/29. So I'm sure that number has increased dramatically by the time you're watching this video. This is one day old as I read this. Point here is that you could see the outflows spiked after the founders were charged with 13 securities violations. Think about this. They didn't, nobody really thought that it was going to get to this level. I mean, to be sued and to suggest that, you would think they would say, okay, you're operating illegally. It's time to shut down your business or move it somewhere else. I'm just going to interject right now. What do you think is going to happen with all this? Yeah, you might have one or two companies that get hit by it, but ultimately, you're just going to have these companies operating in places where they welcome it. They're just going to be welcomed somewhere else where they're not being shut down. It's stupid to try and think that you're going to turn this off. It is ridiculous. At the same time, Bitcoin is kind of just sitting there real happy because they're saying, no, this is not a, part of the same thing at all. We're not a cryptocurrency. We're not anything to do with this. We're not. They're not a security. That's the claim. But the US can deem that it is tomorrow. They could say that. And even maybe it goes to some litigation that takes 3 years. And then finally at the end of it, they say, okay, no, it's not a security. What's going to happen in the middle of that? And then it just could go on and on and on. The point here is that all of these companies trying to operate within the US as they are, I understand why, because they want that money, right? But it's not a good thing to be worried about this and get shut down and have to deal with, $1 billion worth just moving on out of your company. I think really what's going to have to happen is that there's going to have to be some changes within these cryptocurrencies and all the exchanges. That has to go decentralized. Money has to find a way and an off ramp out into there. And I don't know if this is really the case for these two companies. They are trying to go in a different route, clearly not working, right? Neither of them. So that's really, I don't have the solutions to all this, but I know that if they're trying to operate in these countries, we know that the US doesn't want this. We know that they don't want any of these cryptocurrencies to exist. They don't want Bitcoin to exist. They don't want any of this because they do not have that control over it. And that's really what's worrisome. They want to go into the central bank digital currency. So they want to make people acclimated to using them in a sense and being comfortable hearing about them, but they want it to be there from the central bank or the government. That's very, very clear. I have noted this over and over again, that when we look at it, you could see a lot of those that are, let's say, not in favor of any of these digital currencies and all these, they have said, we don't feel safe about it because it's not regulated and it's not issued by any one company, person, or regulatory body, government, whatever. I think that's the reason it's good, but anyway, they don't have control. And in doing so, when they don't have control over it, they can't tax it, or at least they're like on a voluntary effort basis or something. But it's already on the tax forms. They're telling people you better do that. They can sort of track each transaction, but they don't have the control over it that they do with the typical standard way of banking. Okay. And this is part of what I was talking about earlier, the two ways. And when you explain this, it makes a lot of sense and you could see what's been going on. There are basically two ways for a crypto exchange to get in trouble with the SEC. The good way is that you get in trouble for running an illegal securities exchange. In April, SEC sued Bittrex for allegedly operating an illegal securities exchange. Any reasonable reading of the Bittrex case made it clear similar cases were coming against Coinbase and Binance. Just being a crypto exchange in the US is, in the SEC's eyes, illegal. The bad ways that you get in trouble for stealing all the money, and we see that with FTX. Okay, so that's what's going on right now. You can see crypto prices plunge as the sector grapples with the fallout from the SEC's Binance lawsuit. You see here, SEC charges Binance and the founder with mishandling customer funds and illegally serving US investors. All of this is something that people should be watching very closely. Bitcoin is impacted by this, not nearly as much as all the rest, of course, but you can see it here for yourself, okay? Taking some heavy hits in a lot of these different coins. And you look down the list, Bitcoin down, just about 1% or 2% right now, because most of that was recovered after everything got banged down as soon as this happened. But you look through the list and you just see it for yourself. Everybody's favorite Dogecoin is here and all that. The point is that, I think that there could be a lot of blood spilt during this period as investors are simply unsure of where to put their money. Where do we do it? Right? Binance US clients have $2.2 billion at significant risk after crypto exchange is charged. What's going to happen to people? They say we'll make the investors all whole, but then who gets to win out of this circumstance? What are investors going to do? Are they going to put it into Tether? Is that what's going to happen? Or what about Ripple? Ripple will have spent $200 million fighting the SEC lawsuit. So they are involved as well. You got to understand this right here. They just spent $200 million on a lawsuit so far. In the end, what's going to happen? Who knows? Everybody's saying that this is going to be the next currency. This is the big thing. I've been hearing that for many years right now. Maybe 5 years ago, I first heard of that. So far, we have not seen that to be the case. But I just want to show you the fact that these companies are literally spending like 200 million. This is extreme for this company, right? It's a huge amount. Okay, and then of course you got to take advantage of it. So Cathie Wood, they've already bought $21 million of Coinbase shares. So the stock comes down a little bit, and here we go, Cathie Wood swooping in. So if you have any ARK, you are buying into Coinbase. We'll see what happens though. I think Coinbase ultimately is going to do whatever they're told. Like if they say, make this change, make that change, they're just going to do it. They're going to fall in line. Binance, on the other hand, I'm not so sure. We will see what happens. And other, all these other exchanges and things that are operating, who knows? I think they're making it a lot harder to do business in the United States in general, and in crypto is really just one of those. We need decentralized exchanges. We need real decentralized exchanges. And of course, we need a lot more of, well, I should say a lot less control. This is talking about assets in this video, and what I think is important is that you, the individual, you have alternative assets. Alternative assets come in many different shapes and forms, and I want to explain that to you right here. So click this link and I'll see you there.